So I'm not talking about technical stuff today. It's more about organizational development, organizational transformation. And I would like to guide you to a journey of the team, which is end-to-end accountable on the Roche Penzberg side, diagnostics division, for providing systems which are used in make, assess, and release processes. So MES, LIMS, QC, HPLC, that are typical examples. I have the pleasure to lead that team. It's based on historical reasons, Mannheim and Penzberg. So that's important, you'll see it later on. My name is André Girkner, and let's go. I would like to start with one question. Who heard do more with less before from your management? We heard this as well, but we call it differently. We call it do less better. And I start with a quick introduction about the context. So we're talking about MES Core PS. That's the Roche name of PharmaSuite, PharmaSuite in the Roche flavor. It's a globally developed solution package with validation approach, and it's used in the diagnostics division as well as in the pharma division. On about 10 sites globally, the global team develops it further and makes new releases about 2 times a year, but it does not run the local instance. As I said, did I say it? It's based on Rockwell PharmaSuite, and that's what you see on the screen is the whole distribution around the globe. So it's in the US, it's in Europe, it's in Asia, Andaya and Pharma. The next 20 minutes we talk mostly about the diagnostics portion about it, and this is where it's currently distributed in Dia. So it's in Branchburg, New Jersey, it's in Germany, Penzberg, Germany, Mannheim, as well as Suzhou in China. We started the journey about 1.5 years ago. What was the trigger for that? The trigger for that was projects come to an end and hand over in operations. Initially, one team had supported one system, then a second system went live, a third system went live, and a fourth system is going to be live. The 4 systems are used on the 2 sites with 3 different business organizations, and guess what? They do not talk with each other. They have competing demands, and they're approaching the same team on the IT side. This has challenges. So that's basically the starting point, which led to the situation, let's think about how we can do it differently. And at the same time, we're anticipating further rollouts to Branchburg, New Jersey, as well as Suzhou, China. Makes the situation even worse. Why it makes it worse? Well, the 2 sites don't have teams supporting it. They have one individual. And as you all know, in mission-critical applications, one individual is not that great. And then you think about how you can make it happen with the existing workforce. And scaling up the Suzhou team, scaling up the Branchburg team is one way of doing it. But it will be a small team. And small teams have the challenge of, are they big enough to learn all the stuff what is needed to operate such complex systems? Probably not. So we went a different path. And we call it the collaborative version. Identifying empowered individuals from each of the business organizations is a key enabler. They need to talk about with their business colleagues, what is the priority? And the priorities till now, or till we started that journey, have not been aligned across the site. And there was no reason to do that, as they run with independent teams on the business side, so they don't have to talk with each other from a prioritization perspective. This was the first thing what we created, having those empowered individuals, they starting forming a common backlog and aligning priorities. It's basically the inner circle. And arrow lines represent that they're talking with their organizations about the goals. But also now, and it's happening as a side effect, and a very positive side effect, the business units talking with each other. And it sounds strange, but they have not talked that much in the past about content, which lead to situations that recipe elements have developed 2, 3, 4 times. So this is a positive effect. What we do with that? We went into a more agile setup. It's not safe, it's not pure agile, it uses elements of it. And one element is the so-called planning increment. We went with 3 increments a year, so about 4 months each, in sync with our increments of the S4 HANA team, so that we can, if there are alignments needed, they are easily to make. From one element to another, the purple arrow shows that is a so-called planning event. The planning event is when the knowledgeable people on the IT side, as well as the empowered employees from the business colleagues, come together, preferred in one room. It's not always doable if we do it across the globe, but we do it from time to time, to share what is the priorities for the next couple of months, what is the vision, to learn from each other, and having fruitful conversations about the priority, why we are doing that thing first. What is the value for this organization and what is the value for this organization? At the end of the day, resources are limited. It might be budget, might be resource, individuals, but typically it's a combination of both knowledgeable people. So this is what's happening in the dark blue line. And within one planning increment, when the work is started, there are agile sprints started. We're scheduling 3-week sprints. That's the light blue. And to make it a bit more visible, they are on 3 different levels here shown on the screen. At the end of each sprint, you do a quick retro. And again, the business colleagues come together. And this is an opportunity where priorities can be adjusted. We live in a much more volatile world than 3 years ago, for various reasons. New products coming in, pandemic learned us the hard way that we have to be more flexible than classical waterfall. So that learning is applied here as well. So we do that now about a year. And the feedback was quite positive so far, both from the business colleagues as well as from our own team. And if we look into that, yeah, that's the right slide. It summarizes a bit of the benefits. One benefit is a higher transparency to the outside world, what's happening, what you can expect when. It's creating a higher predictability. It's sometimes you have to adopt your schedule just because something outside happening. And one example we had in December, colleagues had planned to go live with a new filling line. Unfortunately, that equipment comes 6 weeks later, so you have to readjust. That's the main pieces around it. Changing priorities, but also changing demands. And as we said before, there are 5 different organizational units, and they do not deploy the systems, the processes at the same speed at the whole year. They are changing around it. So we have a higher flexibility to react on this. We can leverage economies of scale. So not all team members anymore sitting on the production sites. So they're sitting partially in Poland, partially in India, supporting the different sites, which is beneficial. If you think about processes, the most important change was one demand management process. So not 12 different people talking with 8 different people to get to it. It's one process, there's an intake, there's a prioritization, and there's an outcome, which is a prioritization in the backlog. We also had the opportunity, or used it as an opportunity, to harmonize some of the operational processes. A simple example, user account management happens on each of the environments. For various reasons, not always good ones, they have been done differently, all in a compliant way, but differently. Typical root cause, they have been implemented by different people at various times. So we harmonize that. And this is one piece of do less better. Harmonize, it's less effort, but at the same time, it's more efficient. On the people side, and this is one of the initial drivers of it, is reducing workload and stress for the individual. As many times we have conflict between daily operations, projects, and changing priorities. This is now gone from the table of the individual. It's pulled to one level, which makes it less stressful. Of course, this supports flexibility, and flexibility supports the opportunity for individuals to take personal development opportunities. As an example, one of the team members is currently supporting the Aspire rollout. As the knowledge is more spread across the team, it's easier to get someone stepping out. Need to take a look, 8 minutes left. And it provides continuous learning. Continuous learning in a way to be able to work on multiple systems, you need to exchange, you need to talk. So more senior people educate more junior people, and this comes to fruitful conversations. And I think I need to go one slide back. You might see that little, what is the right color in English? Orange? Kind of orange. We plan that in. We call it continuous improvement. So in that 2 weeks period before the next planning event, it's both a buffer as well as a time where the team can learn and can improve. So this is nothing planned for with output. And from a technology point of view, we also developed an approach on one side, already a couple of years in operations, which automates configuration management, and this has been deployed to other sites as well, which means configuration changes from one environment to another is much faster. And it's fully automated, and automated things make less mistakes. That's the main benefit out of it. And we see that also as an enabler for the upcoming S4 implementation. The S4 implementation team, we call it Aspire, decided go live with the whole German legal entity in one weekend. Might be 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, but at one point in time. But we have to do for MES at the same time. To make that happen, you have to be efficient. Let me quickly check if I missed something important. Not on this slide. And there's one final slide I would like to give you as an outlook. So the model is built for scale. And scale might be different sites. And it also enables scaling to sites which are too small that they can afford a MES team on its own. And one example you see here is very down at the country of South Africa. It's Cape Town. So they have a manufacturing site there. They do in operations around 40 people and 2 or 3 processes. Quite important people, important processes, but they will never be able to afford a whole MES team. We now can include them as a 6th bubble into the whole schema, which makes it affordable for smaller sites. But also, the model can be scaled, and it's not yet aligned, disclaimer first, it might also scale to the pharma world. And with that, we have 4 minutes left for questions.
Thank you, Andre. Do we have questions? Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions? Immediate questions? So when you say you can scale it to smaller sites because you've got a template and you've got the team already used to it, and therefore, you know, it makes that possible very quickly. So that's thanks to all the modularization that you've done through the sprints that you've described?
It's technology is the enabler for doing it. We can more or less do everything remotely. And if you bring a smaller team on it, they can quickly learn from all the other business colleagues. So this, you need to have the process expertise you need to bring in. But instead of establishing a local team, which is challenging to gain expertise from a starting point of zero, you can utilize what's there. That's the global team. So the team is distributed across our current manufacturing sites, so Branchburg, the 2 German sites, the China site. Simplified speaking, we are already 24/7. And we have also colleagues on India and Poland supporting us in that they don't have a manufacturing site, but they are sitting there. So we can use the whole technical expertise which is already there and can easily apply it to a site in South Africa.
Okay, yeah. And you said it may work for pharma, so you think it will work for pharma. Why wouldn't it wouldn't work? Why did you put the disclaimer?
Politics.
Ah, okay.
Simple like that.
Okay. So it's not technical. Okay. Any other questions? No? Thank you very much, André.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.